I'ma go hard like Mr. Marcus, cause the game is pussy. Full of ass kisses, lames, and famous rookies. Full of nameless gangsters and shameless bookies. Didn't wanna go there, I'm afraid they took me. Came to aim the stainless and claim my cookies. Before the bounty hunters come, then they arraign and book me. I'ma see 7 figures, or somebody seeing 11 triggers attached to one irreverent nigga. Fuck the law, I smashed the picture. Had 95 bills with Ben Franklin's picture. Like Catch Me If You Can. Gift the cab back a bitch whipping a nabby while I'm riding in a dollar cab. The flow echo when Ras spit, I holler back. Too many groupie label execs, they swallow sacks. Damn, the Ras Kass album in 4 years. Ask Wendy Goldstein, I'm all ears. Fucked up label situation, I guess. Priority Records, the plantation. Capital Records, the plantation. Man, cause I'm an Amistad MC, so give us free. Signed to a major and still on my own masters. I ran up in that bitch and took that shit from y'all bastards.
When NWA blew in 1988, they not only put the city of Compton on the map, but also Priority Records on the map as well. Before hip-hop, Priority was only known for one hit record, and that was from the California Raisins. NWA, with the success of Straight Outta Compton and Easy Does It, turned Priority Records into another home for hip-hop. Ice Cube, Master P and No Limit, Mac 10, Badass, and many others would later contribute to the success of the label. But when they signed Carson, California lyricist Ras Kass to the label in 1995, it should have been the perfect match to introduce Ras Kass to the world. The problem was that he was too different from any rapper that they had signed. Ras Kass wasn't a gangster rapper. He wasn't a gang member. Nor did he have any ties with Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, or any superstars from the West Coast. He was a lyrical wordsmith on the levels of Nas, Rakim, Kool G Rap, and with his technical rhyme structure, tongue-in-cheek punchlines, and willingness to go into taboo topics, this was make things hard for them to market. Songs such as Nature of the Threat was probably one of the main reasons why the relationship between Ras Kass and Priority started off shaky.
Let freedom ring with a buckshot, but not just yet. First we need to truly understand the nature of the threat. And a pale man walks in the threshold of darkness. Roughly 20,000 years ago, the first humans evolved with the phenotypical trait. Genetic recessive, blue eyes, blonde hair, and white skin. Albinism apparently was a sin to the original man. African, so the mutants traveled north of the equator. Go Europeans later, the first race haters. So here's the devil's alpha to the beta. Cause history's best qualified to teach one. Quoting German philosopher Schopenhauer, every white man is a faded or a bleached one. Migration created further mutation. Genetic drifts, evolution through recombination. Adaption to the climate. As the Caucasus mountain man reverted to that of a primate. Savage Neanderthals until the late Paleolithic age. That's when the black Grimaldi man came. With the symbol of the dragon, fire and art. JK paintings in France and Spain to the Venus of Willendorf. Around 2000 BC, southern Russians migrate in small units. Those who travel west populated Europe. Those who went east settled in Iran, known as Aryans. 1500 BC, some crossed the Khyber Pass into India and created Hinduism. The first caste system, the origins of racism. A white dot on the forehead meant delete. The black dot defeat, untrustable, untouchables. They wrote the Holy Vedas in Sanskrit. That's the language that created Greek, German, Latin, and English. Now the Minoans around 2000 BC starts on the island of Crete in the Aegean Sea. The Greek culture begins Western civilization. The Western civilization means white domination. Mycenaeans learned from Kemet called Egypt and Greek. It existed since at least 3000 BC, creating geometry and astronomy. This knowledge influenced Plato, Socrates, and Hippocrates. Cause Imhotep, the real father of medicine, was worshipped in Greece and Rome in the form of a black African. The word Africa comes from the Greek Afrik, meaning without code. The word philosophy means love of knowledge, stole from the first man. Greek power expands, the first Greek fraternities banned. The word gymnasium is Greek for naked. This was the place where adolescent boys were educated and molested. This was accepted because Greek culture was homosexual. For example, Sappho trained girls on the island of Lesbos. hence the word lesbian.
Hey, let these dumb motherfuckers know.
December 25th, the birth of Saturn, a homosexual god. Now check the historical pattern. December 25th, now thought the birth of Christ was Saturnalia. When men got drunk, fucked each other, then beat their wife. Fact is, it was still practiced till they called it Christmas. So put a gerbil on your Christmas list. The Hellenistic era, Alexander the Great conquers all the way to India, leaving 4 successive states. By the 5th century BC, Rome succeeds to be the conqueror of Egypt and Greece, but had the threat of the Black Phoenicians in Sicily. The Punic Wars began 264 BC. The Black general Hannibal and Carthaginian peace. In 146 BC, Carthage fell after a 6-month siege. Rome sold every citizen in slavery, the first genocide of history. And more bisexuality in sight. Julius Caesar was known as every woman's husband and every man's wife. Spartacus revolt, slave rebellion at loss, with 6,000 slaves was nailed on a cross. Oh shit, Jesus Christ, time for some act right. Christians, get your facts right. His Christ was not his name, that's Greek for one who was anointed. Yahshua ben Yosef was his name. Do Christians know this? So who do you praise? Do you know his name? Or do you do this in vain? Accepting the religion they gave slaves to behave. Peep the description of a story in Josephus. Short, dark, with an underdeveloped beard was Jesus. He had the Romans fearing revolution. The solution was to take him to court and falsely accuse him. After being murdered by Pilate, how can it be these same white Romans established Christianity? Constantine would later see the cross in a dream. In his vision, it read, in hoc signa Wonka. In this side we conquer, manifest destiny. In 325, he convened the Nicene Creed and separated God into 3. Decided Jesus was born on December 25th and raising on the 3rd day is a myth. Plus to deceive us, commissioned Michelangelo to paint white pictures of Jesus. He used his aunt, uncle, and nephew. Subconsciously, that affects you. It makes you put white people closer to God.
Yo, man got game like a motherfucker.
True indeed, fuck it, jihad. In the 8th century, Muslims conquered Spain, Portugal, and France and controlled it for 700 years. They never mention this in history class, cause old faiths are threatened when you get the real lesson. Moors from Baghdad, Turkey threaten European Christians, meaning the white way of life. Hence the Crusades for Christ. On November 25th, 1491, Santiago defeats the last Muslim stronghold, Granada. King Ferdinand gave thanks to God for victory, and the Pope of Rome declared this day to forever be a day of thanksgiving for all European Christians. Now listen. When you celebrate Thanksgiving, what you are actually celebrating is the proclamation of the Pope of Rome, who later in league with Queen Isabella sent Cardinal Seminoles to Spain to murder any blacks that resisted Christianity. These Moors, these black men and women, were from Baghdad, Turkey. And today you eat the turkey for your Thanksgiving Day as the European powers destroyed the turkeys who were the forefathers of your mothers and fathers.
Get on the ground.
Let's fight the power.
Get on the ground.
Bitch ass niggas.
Get down.
Now around this time, whites started calling us Negroes. That's Spanish for black object, meaning we're not really people but property. And the triangle trade begins, they seize us. Queen Elizabeth sent the first slaves on a ship named Jesus. Stealing land from the indigenous natives. Gave them alcohol to keep the red man intoxicated. Whites claimed they had to civilize these pagan animals. But up until 1848, there's documented cases of whites being the savage cannibals. Eating Indians. In 1992 was Jeffrey Dahmer. They slaughtered a whole race with guns, drugs, priests, and nuns. 1763, the first demonic tactic of biological warfare. As tokens of peace, Sir Jeffrey Amherst passed out clothing and blankets to the Indian community. Infested with smallpox, knowing they had no immunity. Today it's age, you best believe it's man-made. Cause ain't a damn thing changed. Let me explain, now since people of color are genetically dominant and Caucasoids are genetically recessive, if whites expect to be predominant, meaning survive as a race, then they simply must take precautions. That's why they're worried about the future now. Cause by 2050, almost all the Earth's population will be brown and black. So understanding that, whites counter-react.
I'm saying, man, the fools ain't nothing but a teaspoon of milk in the world color majority.
So they created a system to force blacks into an unnatural position that reinforces the position of natural inferiority. In addition, created guns and developed the ethnocentric view that God justifies every fucking thing they do. Condition people to perceive whites' culture as civilized and every other culture considered primitive. Not true. Racism is the system of racial subjugation against non-whites in every areas of human relation. Entertainment, education, labor, politics, law, religion, sex, war, and economics. See, blacks were 3/5 of a man with tax purposes intended. You think you're Afro-American, you're a 14th Amendment and a good nigga. Jews don't salute the fucking swastika, but niggas pledge allegiance to the flag that accosted you. They never teach about the breaker islands like Jamaica. But before slaves came here, whites would take her. Pregnant woman hang her from a tree by her toes, slice her stomach with a knife and let the unborn baby fall to the floor. They stop an unborn child in front of all the slaves to end breed fear so they be scared, behave, and not rebel more. Understand, all whites must be perceived as potential predators. I paraphrase historian Ishakamusa Berashenko. Understand that regardless of the lofty ideas engraved on paper, in such documents as the Constitution, a declaration, the basic nature of the European American white man remains virtually unchanged. So check. This is the nature of the threat.
Soul on Ice, which was the title and album, was inspired by the 1968 novel written by Black Panther Eldridge Cleaver, remains a cult classic even 30 years later amongst his fans. Ras wasn't afraid of tackling sensitive topics including racism, politics, or religion, which was considered risky at the time, but it was overshadowed by many of the blockbuster releases of 1996. Soul on Ice didn't have any club party records or big names behind the boards, which made the album very difficult to market. He started to work on his sophomore album titled Ras Assassination, which was to feature bigger names such as RZA, Dr. Dre, Easy Mo B, Twista, Corrupt, and Mac 10. Priority hoped that associating Ras with these bigger names would help him cross over, but this done nothing but fracture the relationship between Priority and Ras even more. Ras started to work on his sophomore album titled Ras Assassination in 1997 and was released in 1998, and it was hoping to rewrite the wrongs the label saw on Soul on Ice. Priority wanted hit records and to cross Ras over, so Ras started to get bigger names on the project such as Dr. Dre, RZA, Easy Mo B, Corrupt, Exhibit, Twista, and many others. It looked great on paper, but somewhere the execution, according to many critics, felt off. Dr. Dre at this period, before discovering Eminem, was in a slump, so the impact of having Dr. Dre on the beat didn't have the impact they had hoped for. Then the record had too many attempts to cross over, songs such as Lap Dance, Ooh Wee, Grindin', and All for Nothing, which was said to throw his bass off. There were still records that showcased Ras' lyrical superiority. Ras Assassination, H2O Waterproof, and Interview with a Vampire, where he's rapping as a perspective of God and the devil, were brilliant. The album came across as uneven, with the attempts of crossing over overshadowing the bright spots. Records such as Understandably Smooth, The Music Business with Exhibit, and Game Face with Exhibit would have been perfect additions, but they were left off due to sample clearances.
Immaculate conception, like the Black Madonna and Mangers. My crew consists of millionaires, failures of gangbangers. Say my name like Candyman. Then I'm creeping out the cut with a gallon in hand. I span 49 states, bound, rock, skate. Similar to moving weight out of state. Lyrics lacerate spinal columns. I bury you cockroach, dead and stank. Stomping on busters like Kirk Franklin. Intrigued by the speed of a 911 Porsche, but of course, still screaming, behold the pale horse. Watch my flame turn green like the Promethean torch. Pay no child support with me and my mic divorce. Some of y'all cats in the game look confused with your butterfly collars and your crocodile shoes. Gotta pay due. Street rules. You know it's off the hook when 031 is gangbanging in Brooklyn. Understandable suspicion that murderers move with. All my live ones, not my shook ones. Understandable suspicion that murderers move with. All the riders, not the hook ones. Understandable suspicion that murderers move with. Music to live by, music to die by. Understandable suspicion that murderers move with. Music to drive by. I puff the
Ras was also a victim of bad timing. just like in 1996. He released Ras Assassination on September 1998, at the time where fall 1998 were full of blockbuster releases from Jay-Z, Outkast, Lauryn Hill, Mac 10, Fat Joe, Brand Nubian, and others, and he eventually got lost in the shuffle again. Then, to make matters even worse, Priority Records was in the midst of a corporate merger, which left artists like Ras Kass caught in the middle. Ras Kass saw the mistakes he had made with Ras Assassination and attempted to rewrite the wrongs with his third album titled Van Gogh. He started off on the right path by recruiting Alchemist for Home Sweet Home, which showcased Raz's lyrical firepower at its most ferocious, and he finally had the right producers to really guide him. He also brought West Coast heavy hitters such as Cocaine, Corrupt, the East Siders, Battle Cat, Exhibit, Tash, and many others. He had all the pieces ready, but once again, bad luck unfortunately followed Raz once again. For starters, the album was heavily bootlegged. The record had already leaked to Napster and was already available within a click of a button. And to make matters even worse, Alchemist took the same beat he sold to Ras Kass, whom was caught in label limbo with Priority and couldn't use the song for promotion. The label stopped responding to Alchemist's calls regarding the second part of the payment for the beat. So he sold it to Jadakiss out of desperation, and the song became We Gon' Make It, which would be one of the biggest hits of 2001.
Down the door, we burning niggas naked. The house costs $1 million, sitting on the beach, and the only thing if it's furnished, I'ma take it. My bathtub lift up, walls do a 360. We got the shit that the government got. Talking money, then you robbing the spot. Real, say that they be wildin'. We on the Cayman Island, on the yacht with our favorite albums. I'm bad honey in a plate of salmon, smoking and drinking. Get you thinking that our fate is violent? Love my for the fact that he real. Nobody on the faculty squeal. What? And if you face a capital pun, pass me a and I'ma give you time to run while we gon' make it. From New York, we gon' make it. What? We gon' make it.
The Alchemist. Yeah, act up, baby. Worldwide it's on, and all my fellas you can bounce, floss. What? Yeah, that's what niggas do anyway. You know it's just home, sweet home. Yeah, worldwide it's on, and all my ladies you can drink, smoke, fuck. Listen, I keep a mouth full of pimp shit, ready to smack you. Who babble flammable medley? Deadly the mammal, don't wear no fucking backpacks. I ain't no gangster rap, just a normal ass nigga trying to make some snaps. So may the 850 be with me. Everyday tipsy with at least the crisp 50. Swiftly, walk like a gypsy. Diss me, miss me. Right till I'm broke, twisted like a sissy. Nephew, we still doing so much. I'm pissing on your Michelin. Back of an expedition in Michigan with bootleg. Go home like fuck expedition. Just cause I'm the shit, nigga. Back up in this bitch again. Conceited bastard. Always gonna have the last word, bruh. Fuck wrong with you? That's a no condole. Slow your roll like screw. I'm bigger and blacker than Don Pooh, and that's big time like grandfather clock. Cartier tank watch transform at the top. When Ras Kass pop, we on deck. Crowd breaking their neck. Skills, money, sports, fitness, clothes, gadgets, and sex. Guess I'm a max a man, and I'm max weller than that. Cause I never gotta make up with my blacktail rats. So drink, smoke, fuck.
Ras Kass found out that the beat was reused when he was at Priority's offices and heard Rough Riders executives playing Jadakiss' album with that song being played. Same instrumental and everything. Ras felt betrayed and accused Alchemist of being dishonest, which led to an over 20-year fallout between the two. The song Home Sweet Home couldn't even coexist with We Gon' Make It being a smash hit, and it was a bitter pill to swallow. Another issue was Priority with his new merger with Capitol Records came with new restrictions, which officially fractured the relationship with Ras and Priority. The budgets were cut, singles that Ras wanted for Van Gogh was turned down, and the album officially became permanently shelved. Not wanting to give up, Ras started to work on his new album, Golden Child. He had brought in Dr. Dre, DJ Premier, Cocaine, Busta Rhymes, Maya, and a whole star-studded list. Ras wanted the DJ Premier single, Golden Child, to be the first choice. The label wanted Dr. Dre's The Warp with Busta Rhymes. Creative clashes emerged against Dre, with Dre siding with Raz's decision. The album ended up being shelved once again, and it was the final straw. Fed up with the industry politics, Ras Kass wanted to take matters in his own hands. He felt the label was doing him dirty. He had offers to join up with Exhibit for the Golden State Warriors project, only to be rejected by Priority. He was also a part of the rap supergroup titled The Four Horsemen, featuring Corrupt, Cannabis, and Killer Priest, and Priority nixed that deal too. These setbacks also played a role in Raz's drinking, which he called a DUI. He was facing 22 months in jail and refused to turn himself in. Feeling disrespected by his album being shelved, so he packed his belongings and left California for New York, making him a fugitive from the law for the time period. He will also emulate Prince and write Slave on his cheek, implementing that he's a Priority Records slave. He also started the Free Ras Kass campaign, which was similar to the Let the Lots Go campaign. It gained a lot of major attraction and outside mainstream coverage. This was possibly more promotion than Priority had ever given him. He managed to record Runaway Slave mixtape, the Old to Run mixtape, and Re-Up compilation, all while claiming he stole the masters from Priority.
I'ma go hard like Mr. Marcus, cause the game is pussy. Full of ass kisses, lames, and famous rookies. Full of nameless gangsters and shameless bookies. Didn't wanna go there, I'm afraid they took me. Came to aim this kiss, or somebody seeing 11 triggers attached to one irreverent nigga. Fuck the law, I smashed the ditcher. Had 95 bills with Ben Franklin's picture. Like Catch Me If You Can. Gift the gab back a bitch whipping a nabby while I'm riding in a dollar cab. The flow echo when Ras spit, I holler back. Too many goofy label execs, they swallow sacks. Damn, the Ras Kass album in 4 years. Ask Wendy Goldstein, I'm all ears. Fucked up label situation, I guess. Priority Records, the plantation. Capital Records, the plantation. Man, cause I'm the Amish and took that shit from y'all bastards.
Ras ended up turning himself in and did over a year and a half over the DUI charge. When he was released, he had gotten into it with the West Coast rapper The Game over what was perceived as a shot at him on the record Caution. The two got in a scuffle with stories ranging from Game knocking Ras out to Ras claiming that Game had him jumped. The two have since released diss records at one another and never resolved the issues to this day. Even in the midst of the drama, Ras Kass had finally won his battle against Priority and was released in 2007, ending a 10-year battle with the label. He would later do some extra time for violating his parole attending the BET Awards in 2007. He would be released in 2009, 2 years later, and was looking forward to a fresh start. Ras Kass has regained his confidence and has been one of the most consistent artists in the game today. He released stellar mixtapes and projects such as Revenge of the Spit, Armageddon, Blasphemy with Apollo Brown, the sequel to Soul on Ice titled Soul on Ice 2, and the long-anticipated Four Horsemen project independently. He also reconciled with Alchemist and they will work together on songs such as Flashlight and Get It In. He is currently enjoying his freedom from the clutches of Priority Records and is releasing music at a pace where he sees fit. He's currently working and promoting his new project titled Leopard Eats Face, which is on the lyrical levels of Soul on Ice, with the concept being a metaphor describing the predictable, tragic consequences when people support policies and systems, only to suffer those same forces turning on them. The project remains as critically acclaimed as one of Raz's best projects as he goes back to the basis of what made him phenomenal. Many MCs from Royce da 5'9", Lupe Fiasco, and Kendrick Lamar have cited Ras Kass as an influence in rhyme, so his impact within the culture is already solidified. He also took his sons and formed the rap group Coast Contra, which is consisted of his sons that are introducing a new form of generational lyricism. Ras is currently on the road right now touring and pushing the new album, which you can now catch on Bandcamp. This is King Eric signing out, and thank you all for watching.